Sabe quantas ferramentas seu time de marketing precisa para gerar mais resultados? Só uma. Olha só, com a RD Station Marketing, a sua equipe ganha mais produtividade com as diversas funcionalidades de marketing digital que a ferramenta possui. Você pode criar landing pages, explorar bases de leads e muito mais. E você que é líder ou responsável pelo time de marketing também pode comprovar os resultados e esforços do seu time com as diversas opções de análise. Olha só esse dashboard de resultados e as várias possibilidades de relatórios. Mais de 25 mil empresas nos escolheram e eu tenho a certeza de que o RD Station Marketing pode ser muito útil para a sua.
A prospecção na rede social de negócios é um desafio para você? O Cada Cliente vai participar do maior evento de e-mail marketing do Brasil. Vamos te mostrar como conseguimos aumentar as taxas de conversão de leads. Estruture-se e aumente as oportunidades de vendas dos seus produtos e serviços. Quer prospectar ainda mais pessoas? Não perca o E-mail Market Summit 2021.
Em 2021, faz 50 anos do envio do primeiro e-mail. A nossa convidada internacional, Betsy Grundy, gerente sênior de e-mail marketing da EmailNest, um dos principais players mundiais de ferramentas para otimização de e-mails, vai te contar um breve histórico desse canal e te mostrar como profissionais continuam a usar o e-mail como ferramenta de comunicação, como uma fonte de receita confiável e muito mais. Please welcome our special guest, Betsy Grundy. The stage is all yours.
Hello, good morning. So excited to be here virtually with you all today. My name is Betsy Grundy. I'm Senior Email Marketing Manager at Email on Acid. If you're not familiar with us, we're a pre-deployment email testing tool to help you deliver email perfection. And a little bit about me. So I've been in email marketing for more than 10 years now. I fell into email marketing kind of accidentally. I was working doing just basic office work, and they decided they wanted to start sending email marketing messages and asked me, hey, you can figure this out, right? So I started doing email marketing with database creation, content creation, building, sending, all of it. And so that took me to a couple of different organizations. I did email for some smaller scale companies, some of which we were sending 2 to 3 emails a day. And then moved on to enterprise level marketing, where I was doing marketing worldwide. I did marketing in EMEA in 15 different countries and 10 different languages. And then moved to global strategy, so doing email marketing strategy for 36 countries worldwide. And that was tons of fun, learning about how email works in different countries all over the world. And that brought me to Email on Acid, where I get to do email marketing for email marketers. Really enjoy working with and doing email for people who are just like me. So today I want to talk to you about the last 50 years of email. In 2021 is the 50th anniversary of email, which was first invented in 1971. Where it's been, we'll talk a little bit about the history of email, and then we will talk about best practices and how to run a good email marketing program. So with that said, if you would like to tweet about this session, you can tweet us at Email on Acid, and my Twitter handle is @FemaleMarketing. If there are any tidbits or anything that jumps out at you over the course of the presentation, feel free to shout those out. So how did we get here? 50 years into email, where did it all begin, and what does the road look like that we've been down? So in 1971, the earliest version of electronic mail was invented. That was the ARPANET system, and invented by computer engineer Ray Tomlinson. Then a few years later, Queen Elizabeth was the first head of state to use that electronic mail system. And it's one of those good old-fashioned green screen computers there that we see her sending the message on. And then in 1978, only 7 years into email marketing, here comes spam. So the father of spam delivered the first unsolicited email marketing message, generating $13 million in sales in 1978. Then also in 1978, we had the invention of the term email, which is a much simpler version of electronic mail. There's a bit of controversy over whether this gentleman actually developed that term or not, but for the purposes of this presentation, we're going to go with that. Then in 1982, SMTP became the internet standard for simplifying the communication between servers. We're still using SMTP protocols today. And then in 1988, 17 years into email marketing, Microsoft releases its first commercial email client, Microsoft Mail, which was the initial version of Outlook. And then in 1992, CompuServe, one of the early ISPs, introduced the first WYSIWYG email editor. And there were different fonts, colors, and emoticons within that to be able to build your email marketing message. In 1996, Hotmail and Rocket Mail, which later became Yahoo Mail, that we all know now, were the first free webmail services. And Yahoo and Hotmail both are still widely used today. And then in 2002, BlackBerry introduced a mobile phone with wireless email support. And while it was all text-based messages, that is the first time that email was received on phones. It's hard to believe now with our smartphones, we send and receive emails all day, multiple different accounts. But BlackBerry is where it all began. In 2003, 2003, President George W. Bush signed the Can-Spam Act, which was the first piece of email legislation, and that established the rules for commercial email in the United States. And then in 2004, Gmail came on the scene, and they had inbox search, threaded conversations, and a whole gigabyte of storage space, which now doesn't seem like that much anymore. But at the time, it was revolutionary. And then in 2010, responsive emails were introduced, which today nearly half of all emails are open on mobile devices. So it's really important that your email displays properly and can switch from desktop to mobile viewing. In 2012, President Barack Obama's re-election campaign collected 13 million email addresses, which is really kind of the beginning of email marketing in political use. So their most successful subject line was, "Hey," short, sweet, to the point, got the opens. In 2014, Canada also had their anti-spam legislation on the books, CASL. And then in 2018, the European Union introduced GDPR, and in the United States, California brought on the California Consumer Privacy Act. And then that brings us to 2020, last year. More than 4 billion global users send around 306.4 billion emails per day. Hard to believe that much email is out there, but it is. And in 2020, we really saw email marketing coming to the forefront of digital marketing efforts. When the pandemic hit, email was the way that people could get in touch with their customers. Brick and mortar stores were closing in order to try to stop the spread of the virus. And so email was the easy way to get that one-to-one communication. And that's, last year really brought on more email marketing than we've seen in ages. So now that we've covered the last 50 years of email, let's talk a little bit about what's next, what best practices are in email marketing. So when you think about email marketing, email's relationship marketing. It's not just, it's not just a blank kind of black hole that you send messaging out into. You have a direct connection with the customer on the other end. So when you think about that, in your email marketing efforts, you should try to build as much of a relationship with that as you can. And there are many ways that you can do that. Timely automated messages, segmentation, personalization, all of those are ways to build a more valuable relationship with email marketing. The customers, particularly in the last year where we've seen this strong increase in email volume, they really want messaging that's targeted to them. So doing that one-to-one personalized messaging is going to get you the best bang for your buck. So when we're thinking about that relationship and how we build that relationship, before they even become a subscriber, that relationship starts with our opt-in forms. So how do you even get them onto your email list? So I have a few examples here of some good opt-in messages. And your opt-in form is, your introduction to what you're going to be providing from an email perspective to the customer. So Bombas is the first example I have here. They, offer 20% off your first order, and that you'll be the first to know about all things Bombas. And this is a popover, which is a very effective means of collecting email addresses. The next example I have is from HubSpot, and I like this one a lot. It's not only do they, give you the privacy information there to be compliant, but they also let you self-segment from there. So what do you want to hear about? You can go ahead and select which things you're interested in. And then the last one is ours here at Email and Assets. We use this on our blog posts. It's an exit intent survey. It's one of our best sources of email acquisition. And so when people go to close or leave, this comes up and offers them basically what our email program is about. So this is an opt-in to our newsletter. So you get the latest information, email design, thought leadership, and more. And our brand likes to have fun. So, we say you can unsubscribe at any time, which you absolutely can, but we don't think you'll want to because our messages are fun. So this is the beginning of that relationship with the customer. And so once they fill that out, they've taken your bait. Now what is next? Well, the first thing is your welcome series. So once that customer fills out their information on your email form, you should trigger the welcome series pretty quickly thereafter, particularly if you are offering a discount or something to help complete a purchase. You want that to come through pretty quickly. So I have a few examples here of some first touch welcome series that I really like. So this first one is from HBO Max, and this is a simple confirmation, just letting them know that everything is set up, their account's activated. It tells them how their subscription is billed and how to get more assistance if they need help with it. It's short, sweet, and to the point, and lets the customer know all the information that they need. This next message, so their first touch is, and it's building trust in the brand. And so they open with reviews, and I really like reviews from a value and trust building perspective. Customers use reviews frequently to help make purchase decisions. And so this is, just a good way to say, people like you are confident in the service that we provide. This next one from Casper is just a quick summation of what you can expect of their email program. So once you've opted in, you're going to be the first to know about the latest products. You get early access to sales, you get free shipping, and it's all building the value of what you get after giving your email address over. And then Bombas. So we saw their opt-in message before, offering that 20% off on your first purchase. And their first welcome message comes in, it gives you your discount code, and then provides you some interesting areas that you might want to shop to use that 20% off. And I think this is a good first message. You can use this, you can build some targeting off of this message based on where the people click. So if they click on men's socks, for example, you can add that to their profile and use that to build some initial segmentation. When people are in your welcome series, I do recommend that you hold them out of your business as usual email marketing messages. This is kind of the onboarding introduction to your brand, and you don't want to overwhelm them from the get-go. So I really recommend that your welcome series be your primary focus, and everything else is kind of held back while they're running through this course. Welcome series So a lot of people ask, like, what's a good link for a welcome series? You know, I like 2 to 3 touches. It really depends on your brand and what you're putting out there. So as with everything with email marketing, like, it depends. It's testable. So if you have like a 5 or 6 touch welcome series, you know, that could be what works for your brand. But if, for example, you're seeing that after touch 2, the opens drop off, the unsubscribes go up, etc., then, you know, you definitely want to take a look at whether that length is what works for you. And if you have like a 1 touch or a 2 touch welcome series, and then, you know, people kind of fall off from there, maybe they're, you know, not opening or engaging with you anymore, perhaps there was more you could do to help introduce them to your brand and get them on the journey to becoming a loyal customer. So the next thing in that relationship with your customers is to deliver on that promise. So excuse me. So when the customer signed up, you know, for your emails, did you tell them, you know, they're going to get 2 emails per week, or they were signing up for newsletters only, or there would be a discount on their first purchase? So you need to make sure that you're delivering on whatever promise you set out there. And it's all part of that relationship that we talked about before. So the customer's giving you their email address in exchange. Make sure that you're holding up on your end of the deal. Now, another automated series that I think is very important, and one of the first ones that I would get off the ground, is a re-engagement series. And when we talk about a re-engagement series, subscribers are going to fall into this when they, you know, they've stopped opening for a period of time, and different brands take that on at different points in time. The kind of bare minimum is the 12 months. So 12 months since an open, you want to put someone through a re-engagement series. So what you see is that after a customer or subscriber hasn't opened emails for 12 months, greater than 12 months, that's when you start running into spam trap issues and blacklisting for your domain. So at a minimum, I would say start a re-engagement series after 12 months, no opens and no clicks. Now, with other providers like Gmail, Gmail tends to mark someone as not engaged after about 6 months. So you may start a little bit sooner there. And it also just depends on your brand and your purchase cycle. So some re-engagement series that I've seen that I really like. This one from Skillshare is fantastic. It's straightforward to the point, calling out that, you know, it's been a while since you've used them. Since you were last there, these are the things that they've added, and an offer to come back. And then below that, it's, you know, it's just some more information about what they've added since you were last a user. So more classes, you have offline access, ad-free viewing, just a really good summation of what is there that you haven't been seeing. FrameBridge is another one that I really like. So this one, it's a fun message, you know, that it basically saying, we see you aren't interested in us anymore. We're fine with that. We'll go ahead and take you off our list. But if you want to hear from us, simply click below and you'll stay on the list. And so this is just a simple, straightforward, you know, should I stay or should I go? And this last one from GoDaddy is kind of similar to the Skillshare one. They're offering a discount to come back, and just, again, telling you what you can do with their service. So, you know, whether it's a domain name, building a website, handling their hosting, All of those things are what they have to offer. So beyond re-engagement and welcome, additional automations that are valuable to have within your email marketing program, particularly from an e-commerce perspective, abandoned cart. So abandoned cart is generally the #1 revenue driver for most e-commerce brands. And abandoned cart messaging, it can be a lot of fun, and it's also just, useful to the consumer. Maybe they got busy and they forgot, that they'd added the items to their cart. With abandoned cart, I'd like a 3-touch campaign when you're dealing with B2C. And so with that, maybe an hour or so after, just a reminder, hey, you added this item to your cart, you didn't check out. Maybe you got busy, whatever. Just a simple reminder. And then in the second touch, maybe a day later, I would say, it's a little more urgent. Hey, this item's in your cart, supplies are limited, or this deal is ending soon. Any of those kind of like increasing urgency messages to let the customer know that the item's still there. And then the third touch, I've seen it done a day later, I've seen it done a week later. It's definitely a testable proposition. Sometimes a discount is offered, but it's usually the last message in the series is kind of a, buy it or don't. So your cart's going to expire, or the discount's no longer valid, but here's a discount. So that third touch is kind of the final message out there that you can either complete the purchase or not. Another automation that I like a lot is the abandoned browse. And this one, it's a tough one to make us feel not creepy that, we're watching you shopping around our site. But a brand that does this really well in the US is Home Depot. So they're a home improvement store, and so maybe you're shopping for, kitchen renovation or lawn and outdoor, like gardening, and it's getting to be spring here, so you're looking at, what can you do for outdoor living. So their messages really just kind of are very simple. It's not, hey, we saw you looking at this stuff. It's just kind of a gentle reminder. So if you're shopping for a kitchen remodel, it's a very simple message. It's just, kitchen cabinets that you'll love, and not at all indicating that you are browsing those items, just a simple message with different kitchen cabinet brands they have, or if those items have come on sale since you were looking at them, just a notification that there is a sale on kitchen cabinets, but never ever pointing out, hey, we saw you looking at this, which is the way to get over that kind of creepy factor. Another good automation is the post-purchase. So this is, again, with that email marketing relationship building. After the customer makes their purchase, like what else can you do between the time that they have made their purchase and the product arrives, as it's a shipment, or they start to use it if it's a non-tangible item. And so with this, you have your transactional message, your order confirmation, your shipping information, but you can also add a lot of value in this. So if it's, if it's a tangible item, like if it's a computer, for example, like here are things that you can do with this. If it's a personal care item, the same, like how can you use this product? Maybe some, tips from other users, those kind of ideas, just again, building that relationship. And also as part of your post-purchase series, soliciting a review. So again, we saw those reviews in the welcome series, asking the customer to leave their feedback about this. Now, with the review emails, you do want to make sure that you've given enough time for the product to arrive or to be downloaded and used, but also that you've given enough time for the usage to actually happen. So you shouldn't send order confirmation and then give us a review. It just doesn't make sense in the sequence with the customer. Another good automation is the cross-sell and upsell. So, we see this, products you may also like with an upsell. A really good example of this is like with Google. You can buy more memory or storage on your Google Drive, and if you've bought like a certain amount and you're already very close to that, that's a good opportunity to go ahead and send the upsell and say, hey, here's the next level up, and kind of help the customer before they know that there's a need. So those are the automations that I really like and think are important. But with your automated programs, the most important thing is don't just set it and forget it. So when you put an email, when you put an automated series out there, you should, or any email, you should test before you send every time. And this is one of the things that we do at Email on Acid, delivering email perfection. So this pre-deployment testing, it's going to help you with your brand reputation. It eliminates mistakes. It increases the engagement, protects your investment in the automation. So you don't want to put an email out there with broken links, or that has images that don't work, or it doesn't render properly in certain platforms. That all affects that relationship with your customer. So some of the things too that you want to look out for, and that is like typos and misspellings, in addition to broken links. So we've all heard about, unfortunate truncating of subject lines where sometimes there's, a word you wouldn't want to use in there. That's part of what our Email on Acid platform does, is it helps you see what the email is going to look like in every client's inbox, so that not only does it render beautifully, but it works across all platforms, and that every aspect of the email works, and that there's no typo, misspelling, broken links. We also have some spam and deliverability checks to make sure that you're landing it in the inbox. But all of this you do on the front side before you send the message, to protect that investment that you've put out there in email marketing. And a lot of people say, well, email marketing is, it's such a high ROI, it's such a, low investment channel, but to keep that ROI where it needs to be, you need to make sure that you're testing before you send, and test every time. Don't just test your templates and then just keep sending them, because different email providers out there, they change the rules on the fly, and you don't know how things are rendering. So you want to make sure that everything you have works every time. Also with testing, you want to test after you send. So make sure that you're optimizing your emails for the best possible return. So, your opens are great, engagement's even better. And how do you test those opens? So subject line testing. You should be subject line testing on a regular basis, not just when you see those open rates decline, all the time. And then the data that you get out of these tests, you want to use that for future list segmentation. If you use like a particular product category within the subject line and these people open that, then maybe they're interested in that product category. You also use this testing to ensure the content is valuable and engaging, and you can optimize all of this based on campaign data. So testing is just super important to your email program. You should always be testing subject lines, creatives, all of that, to make sure that you're sending the best possible message and getting the most out of your email program. So that brings us to who, what, and when. So when you think about who, segmentation we've talked about a little bit here. So that's, again, to avoid that whole batch and blast mentality where people are just getting messages that aren't relevant to them. Segmentation is really what you use to make sure that you're sending the best possible message to the right customer at the right time. So a few segmentation strategies that I recommend. One is demographics, seeing split up on age, gender, location, job title. And some good examples of this is like if your customer base is both, say 25 to 34, and then you also have customer bases from 60 to 75. When you send that email, and it may be basically the same message, but maybe you use different imagery in the message, that so when the person opens the message, hey, this person using this product looks to be close to my age, is they can see themselves using the product. Job title, again, with B2B, like if you're sending a SaaS product that you're trying to sell and you want to approach the decision maker, the person that has the budget, you don't want to be asking like an end user person to make a purchase decision, because it's not something that they're able to do. So sending that message to the right person is going to help your conversion. Another segmentation strategy is sending frequency, and we talked about this a little bit with the opt-in message. So what do they prefer? Do they prefer daily emails, weekly emails, monthly emails? And you can segment out on that. Again, one of the companies I worked for in the past, we sent emails every day, and then customers had the option to opt down to weekly emails or monthly emails. And generally those messages were one of the same messages that we were going to send, the daily send. However, it was just a reduced frequency for that customer. Another one is geolocation, particularly when you're directing to like, brick and mortar physical locations. So you don't want to send everybody on your list to shop at the nearest store that's 500 miles away from there. So by targeting down to their geolocation, you're increasing that likelihood of conversion by sending them to the local area where they would be. Another one is purchase cycle and page views. And we talked about a little bit of this in automation. So for example, if you're dealing with clothing and somebody regularly is shopping for women's clothing, use that as an opportunity for segmentation. You see them on your site looking at women's clothing, and the email, talk about deals on women's clothing, send them imagery of women's clothing. The customer feels a disconnect when, the main reason they're shopping with you is for women's clothing, and then you send them men's shoes or something completely unrelated to that. So listen to those cues that the customer's giving you to be able to determine how to send them a message that's relevant to them. Purchase cycle also with that. So if a customer has just bought a product from you, and say it's a highly considered product like, or highly considered purchase of a product like an appliance. So they've just bought an appliance. Don't, the next day send them an email saying, hey, buy this appliance again, because they just bought it. It doesn't make sense for them to do that. So it's part of what we talked about with the post-purchase, is holding them out. The same thing, use that as part of your segmentation strategy. And then past purchases. Again, this is listening to the cues from the customer. So what have they bought before? to be able to tell you what kind of messaging to send to them again. If they're interested in, you know, gluten-free or dairy-free products from a consumable standpoint, that's all that they've ever bought from you. Don't send them an email, you know, with chocolate as the main thing to purchase. Again, listening to that customer's message and how you can use their past purchase history to send them more targeted messaging. And then their email activity is another way to segment. So you can split your list up based on engagement. If people are, you know, if they're regularly opening your emails, send them, you know, put them in a separate group. One way that I see doing this is based on frequency. So send people who've opened in 0 to 3 months, people who've opened in 3 to 6 months, people who've opened in 6 to 9 months. Group them together as different segments. And so the benefits of segmentation. So this is some research that we had at Email and Acid. Lyris Inc. did this. So what can segmentation do for your brand if you use it? Well, increased open rates. I mean, if they don't open the email, they don't see any part of the message. So by targeting them specifically based on what they would be interested in, your open rates are increased. Greater email relevance, lower opt-out unsubscribe rates, better deliverability, increased sales leads, greater revenue. All of these things are building value for your brand and helping you have a best-in-class email marketing program. So we've talked about a lot today. We've talked about automation and segmentation and testing. So just to kind of go back through the last little bit, email marketing is about a relationship. You want to build that relationship with your customer. You want to deliver on the promise that you gave them when they first signed up. You want to automate whatever you can. We talked about some really good examples of automations that you can use. Testing, always testing. Testing before you send and testing, you know, at the time of send. A good email marketing program is always testing. And then relevant messaging, so sending the right message to the right customer at the right time. And doing that via segmentation and making sure that you are delivering the best possible experience for your email customer. So I appreciate you guys hanging in there with me. Thank you so much. It was great to spend this time with you. I look forward to hearing from you all on Twitter, and thank you so much.